So good morning, Dr. Wegley.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
That's a great week. A lot to celebrate. I'm incredibly proud of our educators and proud of the work we're doing. We're actually partnering, our administrative team and board and PTOs are partnering to share messages of gratitude to our teachers this week, and everybody's done such a wonderful job on that.
It's amazing. I see some of the artwork.
Yeah, we've had kids, we put out a call as part of our global learning lesson last week to just share messages of gratitude. And of course, during this time, one of the main things we can do is stay connected and stay optimistic. And one of the ways to do that is to share our gratitude in several ways. But one of them we asked for our community, our parents, and our students to do was just give us messages to our educators across the district. We got over 1,400 messages we're sharing with our teachers. So I was so thankful. Some great artwork, some great messages, some adorable recordings of our students who we miss terribly. So it has been great. It's been very energizing.
Mm-hmm. The virtual celebration is just as wonderful.
Yeah, we're thankful to stay connected and thankful for all the things our students and families have turned into us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Dr. Wegley, thank you so much for spending time with me this morning. And
Thank you.
You really have made our school district one of the best in Illinois.
Yeah, I'm very thankful to be in this district. I can tell you, I've lived in the community for 15 years, know the quality of our parents, our communities, our students, and our teachers. So this is my 5th year as the superintendent of District 30, and I'm so impressed with everything that we do, and obviously committed and care about our community a great deal. So I join you in appreciation for this place and for all of the partnership and all of the hard work that goes into it from our educators that we were just talking about, celebrating this week. A lot to celebrate. We have very talented people and incredible students in our community.
That's wonderful. So at this uncertain time, there are a lot of questions on parents' mind. They like to ask back to you. As we're speaking right now, I'm receiving questions on my phone. So the first question I have is, could you tell us about the Glenview Northbrook COVID-19 Task Force?
Yeah, this is a task force that I have been part of now since March, either beginning of March or late February, and I actually think it was February we started to meet. Initially, it started with 2 different task forces in the 2 villages, and we quickly came to the understanding that on something of this magnitude, we really need to coordinate across the township. And I really give a lot of credit to the village managers in Northbrook and Glenview. They partnered and pulled together governmental leaders and Northfield Township leaders to create the Glenview Northbrook COVID-19 Task Force that has been meeting certainly weeks before we dealt with the closures. So this includes the village managers. It includes all the district superintendents in the village. It includes the library and park district directors. And the supervisor of Northfield Township. We meet every week. On Wednesday, I have a meeting later this afternoon, and we've been coordinating this very complex situation and working through how we can handle things together and be consistent together. And that includes ordering supplies and other things together also. So it's been a very effective and a group that has provided a lot of support, I think, to all of us. We begin every meeting actually hearing from Jesse Hall, the president of Glenbrook Hospital, just giving us an update on the current situation in our community and in our area. And then that guides our work together as we coordinate. Like I said, this is, when people use the word unprecedented, that's a good word for this because nobody certainly living today has managed through these types of complex situations. And this is truly a global pandemic, and it's very complex. So I'm very thankful. And I think we should all realize we live in a tremendous community. I've known that and exactly why I moved to this area, but the coordination, the care, and the thoughtfulness from the intelligent leaders of this community, I can't emphasize enough. And I think we all know that. We know that we have very responsive and thoughtful people that are serving us in our community, but it's never been more apparent than it is right now. And that partnership across Glenview and Northbrook, I have found very, very effective as well.
Mhm. We certainly feel so fortunate to live in such a wonderful community with the great leadership from the village, from the schools. The COVID-19 pandemic has really affected students' way of learning globally. District 30 has swiftly adopted the e-learning and the global learning lessons. Kids seem to be learning happily at home. However, from the parents' perspective, the question they have is, how will the school evaluate the student for the learning effectiveness and their academic progress?
Yeah, I know that's on everybody's mind. We are in a situation, first of all, just kudos to our community, right? We are so thankful to be in a place that has the tools and the commitment to education that we have. Start with just appreciation of our Board of Education and community for investing in education to a degree that we are one-to-one. We have iPads in all of our students' hands. We have been using tools like Seesaw and Schoology and several other tools effectively, really, within our educational programming. But we started working on the idea of remote learning and e-learning in a very serious way beyond what we were already doing when we started to hear about schools closing in Italy. So weeks before we had the closure, we actually thought we'd have more time than we did. But luckily, our team was already working on that, talking about it and preparing for it. And when we did get the news, of course, we made that decision as a township first. And then the state of Illinois, a couple of days later, closed schools across the state. And we quickly put in place the lessons that we have learned. And I give our curricular team and our teachers a lot of credit, because some school districts started from a place of, this is going to be a few weeks and let's just review and kind of keep things status quo. And that was never our mindset. Our mindset as a district was, we are going to, one, remain connected to our kids. And all of us, if we think about the processing that we're doing on everything that's happening around us, it's complex, it's hard to process. We are keeping a focus on our kids. Can you imagine being an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old? And I know everybody listening certainly has kids that you're watching and thinking about and how they're processing all of that. So for us, we want to stay connected to our kids. We want to make sure that we are generating optimism and normalcy within their lives. And we want to thoughtfully move forward. And so for us, we are a district that is very coordinated. We follow curriculum maps. We have professional learning teams that work together. And our goal has been to define a systemic way to keep moving forward and evolve, I think is the word I would use. We are not in a process, and nor do we have the capacity right now to do some kind of revolution in what we're doing. But we have continued to evolve thoughtfully together, work together within our teams. And when we think about the fall, my goodness, I know that's on our parents' minds. And I know it's what I would tell them is, we're going to keep our teachers focus on here and now. I think the description of what I shared in terms of keeping those connections, providing normalcy and moving forward thoughtfully together, that's going to remain our teachers' focus. Our administrative team, and working with the task force we just talked about as well, is already talking about the fall and working on the fall. And we realize that when we do remote learning, it is not the same as being face-to-face. So we have had to make changes, but they've been thoughtful changes made by our teachers in terms of the curriculum that we have defined. We have decided together, as for example, the third grade team has decided these are the curricular components that we're going to keep moving forward on, and this is how much of our curriculum that we're going to get done. So by the end of the year, we'll have a good idea of what we have accomplished and what still needs to be done. And That information, we will spend the last 3 days with our teachers of the school year, really sharing that information and preparing for the fall. And our contingencies for the fall, of course, as we talk about with our administrative team, we're looking at possibly doing e-learning still. We could have some kind of hybrid situation where there's some e-learning and some in person, or as we all hope, we could be back in person. And we're looking at each one of those options, and we will be analyzing where our students are and meeting them. I want our parents to hear very clearly is we will meet our kids where they are, and we will thoughtfully move them forward as a district. And we will be doing that as part of our plan.
Right. So our district has the technology, the resource, and the leadership.
When we talk about how we will analyze and know where our kids are, there is constant ongoing evaluation of where our students are. We have teachers who are planning and coordinating the skills and the curriculum that they are providing right now. And then we will be building off of that in the fall. We'll certainly be doing other assessments to know what we need to focus on, and then we will move. And our school, more than any I have seen, uses this concept of differentiation, of really what different groups of kids need within one grade level. We will apply all of what we know about good teaching and learning to meeting our kids where they are and moving forward. And I have a lot of confidence that the work we're doing right now administratively and with the task force, and the work we will do at the end of this year and the beginning of next year with our teachers, will prepare us for whatever the fall holds. We're going to do it very well.
Right. So for the fall learning, if you incorporate some of the e-learning in the fall curriculum, will there be a live lecture instead of a recorded lecture?
It's possible. I think some of that's occurring right now. I think that our teachers are being really thoughtful to make sure they're getting face-to-face with our kids, checking in with them, making sure they understand some things. There are some things being delivered via recording, some things being delivered more of a face-to-face as we have ongoing work. So I think, as I talked about, we're going to continue to evolve thoughtfully as we go forward, but we're also very conscious that our teachers are dealing with the same thing that all of us are dealing with. We have an international pandemic. We're all at home figuring out a new pace of life, a new structure. We have families. Our teachers are managing their families at home and their work at home, just like all of us. So that has to be done thoughtfully, and I think we are. I think we're doing that as well as we possibly can, and there will certainly be some shift. If we continue this in the fall, there will be some shifting, but it'll be shifting that we do thoughtfully together as an organization, not just quickly to where we can't do it well.
Right.
And I think we are a district that constantly listens and learns, and our parents should be expecting a survey that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks to gather some information on the experience they're having. We're doing the same with our teachers, and we're going to use that information to help guide us into next year. But we're also, like I said, the important thing for our parents to remember, and those who are listening, is that information we're gathering is really for the next phase of this, whenever that occurs. And we are doing as well as we can right now to continue and evolve thoughtfully.
Right. So I remember I received mails regarding if it's a normal school year, we're going to have the math test for students, right?
Yep.
In May. So now probably will not happen, but
Yeah.
which the kids were very happy about it. So in the fall, in the beginning of the fall semester, there will probably be some kind of evaluation, right?
Yes. Yeah, we'll be using we do several types of evaluations. One is just formative as we move through a year. We also have some course evaluations that are looking for specific skills that will continue to be implemented. And then we use some national assessments like MAP. That instead of obviously being given right now, we will give that in the fall, and all of those things together will inform us of our kids. And the other thing I think our parents should know is we have professional learning teams that look at that information and then use it to thoughtfully move their class forward. That's what's going to happen in the fall, just like it has every other year that we've worked together. It's just that we're ending in a very complex situation. But make no mistake, we will meet our kids where they are in the fall, and we will move forward together.
So now thinking about the winter, I think with the technology we have, with the resource District 30 have, there probably will be no snow day anymore, right? Every snow day will be learning.
Yeah, I actually, we talked about a little bit when we were getting ready for this, that idea of what are the enduring lessons in education. And, we are, as I mentioned, we're so fortunate in this area to have a Board of Education and community that has committed to the technology we have available to us. There are places in the state of Illinois right now that are photocopying packets and getting them to students, every week. And that is their learning. That's their remote learning. That doesn't describe what we're doing. We are connected to our students. We get face-to-face with them. We have interactions, and they have the technology to support this. So I'm with you. I think an e-learning day in January is certainly more valuable than an additional day in June. With the enduring understandings that we have with this, there are going to be things I truly think impact our day-to-day classrooms, and it'll certainly impact our snow days and cold days in the future. I couldn't imagine us not doing something like this when we have a snow day in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
There will be some tough conversation between the kids and parents at home.
Yeah, but we'll figure it out and do it well. That's the thing I love about our community and love about our district. And it really is attached to the first question we talked about with the task force is we live in a community where our engagement matters and our voice matters. And that's certainly true of our parents. We listen, we will learn, and we will make changes, but we're going to make changes thoughtfully as we can do it across all of our grade levels and then provide the support to do it well with our teaching teams. And we're learning some things that we will continue to evolve with that will make those e-learning days even more valuable when we get to the next snow day in the winter. And I think that's something that we begin and end with every decision and everything we do is asking that question. So I think that at the end of the day, I hope that what I have done through my career mattered, and people understand that I was part of the solution to making education even better. And I will tell you, through my career, I have seen education do nothing but improve. And I'm a strong believer in what we do for kids. Our saying in this district is we create a community that craves learning, fosters resiliency, and cares deeply about every child. I hope at the end of the day, they say, he made that come to life, and he supported us and cared about all of the people, our parents, our students, and our staff, to help them make that a reality.
We, as parents, we feel very fortunate and very grateful for your leadership for sure. And we feel your mark for making District 30 the top school district in Illinois and even top schools, among the nation. So thank you so much for that, Dr. Wegley.
Thank you. And we say we want to be a lighthouse district. That is, if we should be able, with everything we have, we know that we can do education right. We know that we can serve our kids incredibly well and put them on the right trajectory for their future. I think our kids are going to enter a very competitive world, and they need every advantage we can give them. So we take that very, very seriously. And I certainly take that to heart with everything that I do.
It's wonderful, wonderful. So can you share with us a typical day of shelter in place for superintendent?
Yeah, it's I don't know that there's, the way I would describe my job in general is I help set direction and solve problems, and make sure that everyone around me is supported. And one of my driving forces is I make sure I have a list of things I need to get done during the day. and I have a list of things that other people need from me. And I always make sure that list gets taken care of first. So in that way, the day hasn't changed. I wake up around 6 o'clock. I'm online by usually 7 a.m., checking emails and getting information that's needed. And I start working on things other people need from me and make sure that I'm supporting everybody that I work for. I look at the superintendency as the position that actually works for the whole district. The whole district certainly doesn't work for me. I support this district. And from there, the meetings and other things that go on through the week have all been through this kind of platform. But I'm so thankful actually to be in a time when we have this technology, because we have continued to move forward. So my days include checking off a lot of things for others. They include a lot of communication, of course, in times like this and working on that. They include administrative meetings and meetings with our Board of Education and preparing for those meetings to keep the important work of the business of the school district moving forward. And I always say, one thing I can say for sure is I'm never bored.
Oh.
I am working through the day usually, now especially, doesn't have a set end time ever. It just continues to bleed over into the night to make sure, again, that everybody has what they need. As you can, at this time of year, we're setting staffing, we're hiring staff, we're continuing to pay bills, we're updating board policies, we're doing all that work in the business of the school district. All of that has now shifted to online systems that we had to create, make sure they're working. And what I'll tell you is we have one position left to hire for next year. We have hired, all of our staffing is complete. We are making sure our bills are paid and updating board policies. Everything is continuing remotely like this. But a lot of it happens via Zoom and that Google Hangout format.
I know, even though, so we are work from home, the workload never reduced. It's probably busier than ever.
The way I describe it is, when you get into a crisis situation, I was described as kind of like drinking water out of a fire hose. That's what I've felt like for 7 weeks now. But we're starting to get into more of a rhythm. But the amount of details of things that need to get solved, and for us, our focus has been on handling the questions and the issues we need to get this year finished well, so that my administrative team, and we've now started our shift to focus on next year. And the one thing I know for sure is next year will be complex. It's been busy, been very, very busy, but very good too. I would say I'm so appreciative of our teachers for the incredible work that they have done. And really, they have undergone a revolution. I mean, from teaching within your classroom to teaching online. They've had the tools. Certainly, we've stayed within the systems that we had in place, but that's a major shift, and they have handled it well. And I thank our parents for their support and their grace as we've gone through this and continue to go through this. And I got to tell you too, I am also very, very proud of our students. Our students are still engaged. Our students care about their learning. And all of that has been evident as we've gone through that.
Right. In the school district we are in right now, if the students don't care, the parents will make them care a lot.
Well, the good news is that, and I do believe this, education makes a difference. It is placing our kids on the trajectory for their future. And we are in partnership to make sure that happens well. And we're continuing to do that now. And where we have students who need extra support, you'd be amazed at the fact that our psychologists are still meeting with students remotely and providing support. Our student services department is working incredibly hard, making sure that our kids have what they need. But we are so lucky to have the partnership we have with our parents, and we will continue.
Absolutely. We are living in such a wonderful neighborhood with all the parents are very hands-on on their children's education.
Yeah.
when I see we're going to have this interview, I have so many parents text me, email me with questions. That you care a lot about the kids, about the education, about our community. It's a
Yeah,
wonderful thing. And
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm feel fortunate to do what I do and love where I do it. I've lived here for 15 years in our community, and when I go for a walk, I I often get a chance to interact and hear and stay connected with our community. So I feel a tremendous pride in living where I live and having the kind of support that we have.
okay. Here's one question from the parents is, how parents can better help in this trying time?
I think our parents are doing an amazing job. I think to realize this, I think that what we all need is to continue to have empathy in this time, because what is true, I read something the other day that said, we're all going through the same storm right now, but we are not all in the same boat. There are families with two parents working hard, some of them in the medical profession that has done nothing but ramp up in this crisis. We have families that have the capacity to support their children in the e-learning environment much more than some others. So for us as a district, I think we all as a community need to just continue to have empathy and grace for each other and understand that we are trying to provide support for the whole community in a very, very complex time. And although we are starting to feel some normal in our day-to-day, to remember we're still in an international pandemic. And that means that, one, I'm so thankful that we are continuing to put safety of everyone first and be responsible for that and teach our kids that. And two, just continue to provide the support that you can, and to really answer your question, stay very connected to your teacher. And if you need additional help, certainly you've got your principal, you've got me at any time. We are all here to support you. And we recognize that we are all have different abilities to support our kids through this time. And let us help you. Let's stay connected. Let's continue to talk and work through this together, but understand this is complex in the fact that you have so many different family situations, including those of our teachers. So I think let's keep doing what we do best. One of the things we value is our collegiality and relationships. That's one of our core values, one of the things that makes us who we are. Let's continue to build off of that and work together, and always keep what's best for our kids at the center, and know that that's certainly what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. And going into the fall, when kids return to the classroom, hopefully, what kind of safety measures will this district take to ensure?
We're working on that right now. The governor just yesterday, and I would encourage people to look at this. I'll be adding this to our frequently asked questions by the end of the week. I'll put out another communication, and I would say keep up. The other thing to do is keep up with the communications we're putting out. That task force puts out a weekly communication that comes out with my weekly email. I would very much encourage our parents to read that and keep up with that, because this is an evolving situation. This week's will include the 5 phases that Governor Pritzker just laid out for reopening Illinois. And it ends with phase 5, Illinois Restored. And it started where we were just a short time ago, and that is in phase 1, rapid spreading. We are right now as a state in phase 2, and Governor Pritzker has laid out these 5 phases to be progressed through, and you could also move backwards depending on how this progresses by region. And we are in the northeastern region of the state, so as a region, we will be getting guidance from the Illinois Department of Public Health, and we will be following that guidance strictly. What I will say about our fall is our number one focus, certainly of mine and our entire district, will be the safety of our families, of our kids, and of our staff. And we are going to look to the Illinois Department of Health for that guidance. We don't get to reopen school buildings. We're right now in phase 2. We don't get to reopen school buildings until we get to phase 4. And that's going to be with some guidelines from the Illinois Department of Public Health. And we have yet to receive those, but I know they're working on them. we're going to continue to be brainstorming and thinking about that as well. But once we receive those, which I hope is in the near future, it will give us our roadmap to return, and keep looking at the communication that comes from us, because I will keep our community very updated on what we learn and the steps that we're taking.
Okay, so for phase 4, that means around July, where?
Well, we don't. There's really not a set time frame for it. I think right now we're in phase 2. The governor is saying the earliest we could get to phase 3 would be in June.
Okay.
So that would be a phase 3, hopefully. And it really depends on the statistics. And I support this. I think our governor has done a very good job of saying we want to let science guide us here. We want to let the facts that face us, the recipe for success in any kind of disaster, any kind of challenge you're facing, is to first and foremost face the facts. We have to remain optimistic. We have to certainly look at all of our options and have a plan. We have to stay focused and have a plan. But it starts with understanding the facts. So that by region, the Illinois Department of Public Health is going to be just basically taking and tracing the different factors that are important, including the number of cases, how our health system, the capacity of our health system to support individuals who need intensive care and that type of thing. So it's going to really depend on that. So I can't give a time at which we will get to phase 4. My hope is that it is by August 1st, and that we can really be talking about this, but I don't know yet the timeline of that. And we'll look for the Illinois Department of Public Health to start giving us the metrics, and they'll start tracking and sharing the metrics. We will share those certainly with our task force, and I will share that with our communication as well.
Okay, so for summer school, the summer school will be still going on or will be canceled?
Yeah, we're going to finalize that decision, I believe, this week. And I think this guidance from the Illinois Department of Public Health is helping us, because for us to run the kind of summer school that we run, we're a very hands-on, program-oriented summer school. Right. We would need to be in phase 4. Being in phase 2, and we certainly won't be the phase 4 in June, it doesn't look like. Right. It seems very unlikely to me that we're going to be able to get a safe, face-to-face, hands-on summer school in place for this summer. You look for my communication on Friday. We will finalize a decision by then. But I would say right now, the information that I'm getting say that will likely be canceled. And the second thing that's a factor for me is, like I said, if we're going to be successful through this very complex time, one, we all need to remain optimistic. And that means also continuing to be responsible and do our part and do the right things. 2, we need to make sure that we stay focused. Think of the complexity of the fall of what that will be. If I start taking my administrative team's focus and say, and we did talk about this briefly, should we try and do a virtual summer school or something like that? That is not aligned with the way we have done summer school. And I don't know that it's the right thing truly for our kids, but I know it's not the right thing for our teachers and our administrative team. I need to keep our focus on the fall, and trying to do something with summer school outside of what we normally do would only negatively impact our ability to be prepared for the fall. And so number 2 is focus, and number 3 is we will have a plan. And that plan will be one that we have a lot of agility with as we figure out things that need to change and work on, but we're going to remain optimistic. We're going to stay focused, and we will have a plan. We will do whatever the fall brings. We're going to do it very well. And we're going to need that focus to do that. So I can't tell you how much we miss our kids and miss our staff. I would love to be back together today, much less this summer. But based on the guidance that we're getting, it does not look like we're going to be able to have that face-to-face summer school, and certainly wouldn't even have the clarity of whether we'd be there until July. And that just leaves us a couple of weeks trying to cobble something together that would just take our focus away. So that's my thoughts.
The longer the kids wait, the sweeter the reunion.
Yeah, we will have a sweet I think, think of the enduring things that, in the idea of remaining optimistic, how I, I can't wait to see the people that we love and care about face to face again. And I think it's going to be something that impacts our kids through their lives. I know it'll impact me through the rest of my life, of how much I will never take for granted the opportunity to be face to face with the people I love and care about again, ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we all realize how precious those memories are.
Yeah. And you're right. When we get back together, it will be a sweet opportunity because we have the sweetest kids, and I'm surrounded by people in our district every day that I'm inspired by, and I can't wait to see them face to face again. But I know we're going to continue to do this well. But oh my goodness, I can't wait till we can say we are back to a new normal. I'm sure there'll be some things different, but we miss them terribly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Wegley. You answer a lot of our questions, and I really appreciate you spending time with me to address the parents' questions and concerns.
You bet.
We are.
Well, I appreciate your time too, and appreciate, again, I'm so thankful for our community and our teachers and our students, and very proud to live in this place and to serve this place. So I appreciate it. Just keep in touch. Let us know questions you have, and we will keep communicating every step of the way as we go forward. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, and stay healthy.
Appreciation Week.
Yes, and shout out to our entire district for that. We are so thankful for everything everybody does